and
Helen.
So it is decided. We know the winner. It's Majesty up against Akinlolua in the semi-final.
Yes.
The Abuja champion versus the first Lagos regional champion.
Yeah.
Majesty, you have to pick.
What?
Pardon me, did you say right hand?
Yes, I said right hand.
Okay, could you please pass this to him? Right hand. Could you let us know how you've picked?
I'm supporting the motion.
You will be supporting the motion.
All right.
So meaning Akinlolua will be opposing the motion. For the benefit of Akinlolua, who is not here and who may be catching this for the first time, the topic will be on AI-generated content. AI-generated content should be considered original and protected by copyright. AI-generated content should be considered original and protected by copyright. Majesty will be supporting that motion. Akinlolua will be opposing it in the semi-final. All right, we'll take another quick break. When we come back, we'll launch ourselves into the next debate. Remember, the feed for that first debate would have closed now, so you refresh your social media account, Facebook or YouTube, so that you can catch the new feed that has just opened up for this next contest. We'll be back.
On Thursday, 3 electrifying clashes of wit, logic, and persuasion will light up the stage. At 3 p.m., Majesty Joseph Ojochegbe squares off against Abu Francis Helen Ebo on the fiery topic, Nigeria's lawmakers are overpaid for the work they do. At 4 p.m., Godsgoodness Kokoette takes on Omar Benedi Excel on the topic, foreign aid does more harm than good to developing countries like Nigeria. And at 5 p.m., Tayo Akinde Marvelous goes head-to-head with Ifeoluwa Olaiya on the question, Nigeria should erase the memory of civil war to move forward. Don't miss a second of this intellectual fireworks. Tune in live on Nigeria Info FM and Kids FM stations nationwide. Watch online on Facebook and YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. I Beg to Differ Secondary Schools Debate Tournament. The national finals is proudly powered by Chrisland Schools, Ejanla Foods, Diamonds and Pearls Travels Limited, Massey Children's Hospital, Obi-Wheezy and Lekki Conservation Center. Knowledge, passion and power. I Beg to Differ, the Tournament of Champions.
If you are hungry for Nigerian flavor, step into Ejanla Foods, where every bite tastes like home. From fresh sizzling seafood to hearty soup, from smoky jollof rice to mouth-watering swallow and sides, we serve it fresh, we serve it local, and we serve it delicious. We are cooking for you every day at number 45B Suez Crescent, Abacha Estate, Wuse Zone 4 in Abuja, and at number 37 Body Thomas Street, opposite Access Bank in Lagos, and of course at number 40 Fola Oshibo Road, Lekki Phase 1. Follow the taste on Instagram at ejanla.ng. That is at ejanla.ng. Ejanla Foods, your taste buds will thank you.
Welcome back. Special thanks to all our partners and sponsors, Obi-Wheezy, Ejanla Foods, Chrisland Schools, Diamonds and Pearls Travels, Massey Children's Hospital, and of course the Lekki Conservation Center. The spotlight now shifts from Abuja to the global stage, where we look at foreign aid. What is it? A helping hand that lifts nations upwards, or a chain that keeps them dependent and weak. Today we have two strong voices here who will wrestle with the hard truths of development, sovereignty, and survival. One of them will claim a place in the semi-finals. The other, sadly, will bid this national finals farewell. So let's get to meet the two contenders. Starting with the champion from Port Harcourt. Just graduated. I think it's safe to say she's now 16. Still 15. Still 15. From Venocrest Schools, Eneka, Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Please welcome the one, the only, Godsgoodness, Kokoette. How are you doing, Godsgoodness?
I'm very well, thank you.
It's good to have you in our studios again. Well done and welcome. Our opponent is also a champion. The previous season Abuja champion. He's 14. And he's an SS3 student of Government Science Secondary School, Pyakasa-Maitama, Abuja. Same school as Helen.
Yes.
Nigeria. Welcome, Omar Bendei, Excel. Welcome. It's been tough going in this national finals, right? I'm sure you cannot wait to get one over somebody. Here's your chance. Here's your chance. The opposition is no mean feat, but such is the case of these debates. By the way, would like to say a special thank you to their chaperones, starting with Godsgoodness's teacher, Mr. Ani Amagwajuru. Thank you very much. I hope you can wave for the camera. Thank you very much for the hard work. Also, the chaperone for Excel, Mr. Dioni Elijah, his guardian and coach. Thank you very much, sire, for being here and for all the hard work that you people do. All right, it is time.
Yeah. But before we do that, I would like to remind you that there's a new live stream. Go refresh your social media, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. We're live on Facebook and YouTube right now. You could also join the conversation. Don't forget, we're live on all our Nigeria info stations in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. Same for our Kids FM in Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja. The polls will be up in a minute. Vote for who you think would be the better debater for today.
All right, we're ready. This debate moves to the global stage. Nigeria has long been a recipient of foreign aid. But is it truly a gift or a curse wrapped in charity? For the motion, foreign aid does more harm than good to developed countries like Nigeria. Goodness, God's goodness, is probably expected to argue that foreign aid creates dependency, discourages innovation, and often comes with strings attached that compromise sovereignty. She may cite examples where aid has been misused, wasted, or tiered to donor country interests, leaving recipient nations weaker rather than stronger. Against the motion, Excel may aim to defeat her by defending aid as a vital tool for development. Who knows, he may highlight how it funds critical programs in healthcare, education, and disaster relief, areas where many lives have been saved. He may argue that the challenge is not the concept of aid itself, but how nations like Nigeria manage and apply it. Who knows where this argument, this debate will go. It is a debate about dependency and dignity on one side, and opportunity and survival on the other. The world may be listening, but only one debater will convince the judges. Will it be Godsgoodness, Kokoette, or will it be Omar Benedi Excel? Let this debate commence. Maryann.
All right, so we're going to start with the debater that's supporting the motion, which is Kokoette. Kokoette, you have 4 minutes and your time starts now.
Foreign aid can have significant negative consequences on developing countries if not properly managed. My name is Godsgoodness Kokoette from Venocrest in Harcourt, and I am here today to support the motion which says that foreign aid does more harm than good in developing countries like Nigeria. My points are: 1. Reliance on foreign aid could discourage self-sufficiency and lead to a dependency syndrome. Foreign aid is ideally meant to be supplementary, helping a country during crises like famine, war recovery, or natural disasters. But when a country continuously relies on it, it stops being a backup plan and becomes a major source of survival. 2. Instead of investing in local industries, governors of developing nations may await foreign funds, weakening internal development. It also brings about reduced urgency to generate internal revenue. Governors who know that donors like the NGOs or the international agencies will eventually provide money will delay creating or enforcing strong domestic revenue systems like taxes and levies. Why stress the citizens with tax reforms when foreign aid will fill the gap? A good example is under the Nigerian COVID-19 Action, Recovery and Economic Stimulus (NGCARES) initiative. The World Bank backed a program aimed at restoring livelihood, bolstering food security, and revitalizing scattered businesses across Nigeria. States collectively injected over $2.2 billion in resources to deliver to millions of vulnerable Nigerians. The delay dynamic. Despite having a sizable investment from the states, governors across Nigeria decried the World Bank's failure to disburse the agreed upon funds for the NGCARES 1.0. This led to a situation whereby, despite having ambitious plans, the states were stalled, unable to move forward until these donor funds were released. 3. Corruption. Aid funds can be diverted by corrupt officials, weakening public trust and effectiveness. A large amount of money from the foreign aid passes through government agencies, which can be easily embezzled. It can also bring about corruption, as leaders may approve ghost projects funded but never built, use inflated contracts where projects cost more on paper than in reality, with excess pocketed by officials. 4. Distortion of local economies, as free or subsidized goods can outcompete local economies. Heavy aid, especially in the form of goods, can undermine local industries. Local industries cannot compete with free imported goods, so they slow down production. Once this happens, the country has to continue receiving foreign aid because its own systems have collapsed. 5. Political interference and loss of sovereignty can occur, as foreign aids can lead to political or economic conditions. 6. As we have seen in many cases in Nigeria, national policies have been shaped by foreign interests rather than local needs or values. This is detrimental. Donor countries tie aid to strategic goals. Foreign aid is rarely free, as it is often linked with political, economic, or security interests of the donor countries. Donor countries, for example, may fund border security and immigration problems because of its own interest in fighting terrorism and curbing migration, and not because of the interest or priorities of the recipient country. Also, heavy investments in the mining industries, the extractive industries like oil and mining, because of the country's interest in raw materials, while areas like the healthcare sector and the education remain severely underfunded. 7. Donor interests determine which sector receives the foreign aid, and critical areas might be neglected if they do not align with foreign interests. 8. Foreign aid undermines local industries, as NGOs and aid agencies can sometimes bypass government structures, weakening public institutions. 9. Dependence on foreign aid reduces the incentive for the government to build local capacity. 10. It fuels political patronage and conflict, as aid money can be used as tools by the government to reward loyalists and punish opponents. In the immortal words of Zambisi Moyo, a Zambian-born economist and author of the book Dead Aid, what African countries need is trade and investments, not handouts. My dear opponent, your name is Excel, so I say to you in Latin, pra este el is introspectionem, meaning excel by looking inwards. Thank you.
Okay, Here we go again. Femi, before we are done with this competition, you and I would have learned a few Latin words.
Yeah, I'll probably be speaking Greek in addition. All right. Well done. That was the voice of the very impressive Godsgoodness Kokoette of Venocrest Schools, Eneka, Port Harcourt, opening her argument. We'll now allow her opponent from Abuja's Government Science Secondary School, Pyakasa-Maitama, Abuja, Excel, Bendei Oma, to open his account.
All right, Excel, you have 4 minutes and your time starts now.
If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. This African proverb reminds us that Nigeria didn't get this far by going alone. With this, I bid a pleasant day to the esteemed judges, distinguished moderators, ladies and gentlemen listening in on my co-debate. I am Excel Bendei of Government Science Secondary School, Maitama in Abuja. And I ask, why would we hinder our development? Because of fears. Because of fears of underdevelopment. Firstly, polio eradication. The WHO and UNICEF confirmed that Nigeria was declared free of wild polio after aid funded vaccinations of over 45 million children annually. Aid eradicated a crippling disease. Secondly, life saved from epidemics. Associated Press reports that US aid programs averted 91 million deaths globally from HIV/AIDS and malaria between 2001 and 2021. Thirdly, maternal health. The UNFPA confirms that maternal deaths dropped by 22% after aid-funded services and safe delivery services were incorporated within a decade. Furthermore, emergency response power. The WHO and NCDC cited that during the COVID-19 and Ebola pandemics, foreign aid-funded PPEs, laboratories, and vaccines were lifelines that helped and sustained Nigeria through global health shocks. In addition, education upliftment. UNESCO reports that youth literacy rose to 73%, with millions of girls gaining access to classrooms built with donor support. Foreign aid educates and education ends poverty. Moreover, youth empowerment. The UNDP confirms that 250,000 Nigerian youths gained vocational skills through foreign aid funded programs. With over 70% of our population under 30, this is an investment in the future. Additionally, renewable energy access. USAID Power Africa provided solar electricity for over 3 million Nigerians. It powered homes, schools, and rural businesses. On the economic side, market access. USAID Trade Hub facilitated $140 million in agribusiness exports, linking local farmers to global markets. Similarly, climate smart agriculture. IFAD notes that over 500,000 Nigerian farmers now use aid-funded climate smart practices that reduce losses due to drought and desertification. Notably, aid has proven growth models. The New Yorker and the Times UK remind us that South Korea, Uganda, and Ghana went from aid recipients to growth success stories. Crucially, strengthens democracy. The European Union's election observation mission confirms that foreign aid assisted INEC with training, logistics, and monitoring tools that improve the digital processes of Nigeria's elections. Importantly, aid sponsors accountability. Cogent Economics and Finances confirms that aid strengthens transparency and policy making in developing countries with functional institutions. On security, peace-building efforts, the United Nations OCHA confirms that foreign aid assisted afflicted Nigerians, 8 million conflict-afflicted Nigerians with food, shelter, and schools. Can we say that aid harmed these people's lives? Lastly, aid is a catalyst for the Sustainable Development Goals. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals report confirms that humanitarian aid improve development in health, infrastructure, and energy. Can we say that this did not make Nigeria one step closer to the Sustainable Development Goals? God's goodness, I advise you. Look inward. Look at the reality of Nigerians that would be affected if we dared to reject foreign aid. Thank you.
Thank you.
He's done with some 40 seconds to spare. Thank you very much, Omar Benedi Excel of Government Science Secondary School, Pyakasa-Maitama, Abuja. Well done. Well done. All right. Maryann, interesting opening.
Yes.
One round down, two still to go.
And I cannot wait because this set of debaters remind me of the ones who just left the studio.
No doubt. If you've got to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Okay, we'll be
so
back.
champions are doing a lot of basketballs. I wait for the semi-final.
I know, I can't wait.
Don't ask me. Yvonne will ask me to please. What's that? What word is that?
What is basketball?
We'll be right back after this break.
At Chrisland, some of our recent achievements in sports. We lifted the ISIN Under-17 soccer trophies in 2023 and 2024 consecutively. Chrisland female soccer team also won the ISIN Under-14 and Under-12 soccer competition in 2024. Chrisland football team defeated the schools to lift the soccer fiesta trophies 4 times. We take pride in a powerful alumni as we continue to raise global leaders, captains of industry, and eminent professionals in diverse fields all over the world.
You'll find Chrisland School in Katampe, Abuja at number 5 Samuel Oladile Crescent by Gishiri Bus Stop, opposite Nikon Junction, Katampe District, FCT, Abuja. That's the number to call, 002-319-9882 or 003-648-5770 or 0703-135-5323.
All right, Nigeria, we are back with the best, the Tournament of Champions, the best secondary school debates that has ever rocked this country. Yes, you can take that to the bank. This is the I Beg to Differ Students Debate Championship, and this one is the quarterfinals. We still have Godsgoodness, Kokoette, and Oma Bendei Excel in the studio. They are about to rebut each other's points after the opening statements. We're going to move back to the start, and now we're coming to you, Oma. You are going to be starting with your your rebuttals. You have 4 minutes. Are you ready? Your time starts now.
My opponent stated in her first and 6th point that foreign aid would deepen our Nigeria's dependency and worsen the Dutch disease, but I dare to say that that is a lie, because in actuality, foreign aid improves health and education, and a healthy and educated workforce would definitely improve our economies and give us more resilience in the long term. She also said in her 2nd and 8th point that foreign aid reduces internal revenue, but aid improves economies, Aid improves economies, not destroy them. In her 3rd point, she said that foreign aid would worsen corruption and deepen already existing problems. But aid enforces transparency. Many a times, most organizations that offer aid, most governments that provide sustenance to developing countries, often force our legislators, our governments, our state, federal, or local governments to publish their budgets before funds are released, which ensures that if no work is done, no money is paid. She also said that foreign aid only focuses on heavy investments in creative industries, but UNESCO reports that foreign aid also invested in education and improved youth literacy by 73%, and also invested in agriculture when the USAID Trade Hub facilitated $140 million for our Nigerian farmers. She also said in her 7 points that foreign aid undermines already existing policies and legislation. But foreign aid actually strengthens our democracy and ensures the accountability and the safety of our systems. Due to an insufficiency of my opponent's point, I am forced to conclude my rebuttal here. But God's goodness, I leave you with this question. If Nigeria were to revert back to agriculture, if we were to lift up our hands and throw foreign aid back at where it came from, do you think that would be in the studio? Do you think that Lagos would exist? Do you think that development would have reached our nation this much? Do you think that would have developed beyond what we were? To say that foreign aid does more harm than good is to enforce stagnancy on developing countries. God's goodness, like you said, excel by looking inwards. And I advise Nigeria to excel by looking inwards and stretching hands outwards. Thank you.
Okay. Interesting.
Pretty interesting. The powerful rebuttal round gone for a little more than half the time, but impactful nonetheless. Oma Bendei Excel of Government Science Secondary School, Pyakasa-Maitama, Abuja. He is opposing the motion that foreign aid does more harm than good to developing countries like Nigeria.
All right, Kokoette, it's now your turn to rebut. You have 4 minutes and your time starts now.
Godsgoodness Kokoette remains my name. My rebuttal to points presented by my opponent will be straight, clear, and concise. 1. While sharing accolades on foreign aid, my opponent failed to take into consideration the dire consequences of foreign aid to national security. A clear example is how foreign aid has contributed to the emergence of armed groups of armed groups in the case of the Democratic Republic of Congo during and after the Rwandan genocide of 1994, where aids were used to regroup elements in the guise of helping refugees. Eventually, the Rwandan genocide lasted for 100 days from April to July 1994, resulting in the killing of an estimated number of 800,000 to 1 million people. Can you imagine that? 2. My opponent has also suggested that foreign aid supports infrastructure projects, but I put it to you, Excel, that developing countries can alternatively invest in infrastructure projects by opening up domestic markets without relying on foreign aid through private-public partnership. A good example is the Murtala Mohammed Terminal Airport 2 in Lagos, a partnership between the Federal Airport Authorities of Nigeria and the Courtney Aviation Services. When I flew into Lagos, I became a beneficiary of this laudable initiative. 3. On health sector, your statistical evidence is obviously not broad-based, but I put it to you unequivocally that they lack empirical proofs in terms of tangible dividends. A study conducted in the Lagos Teaching Hospital, where 72% of respondents said that only 20 to 30% of the foreign aid reached the health sector. 54% said they were ineffective, while 74% said that they had no significant change in the healthcare sector. Is this what we want? 4. My opponents has tried in vain to prove that foreign aid is our last resort and option, but I beg to differ because there are several better alternatives. Countries can develop by leveraging their own resources, building strong institutions, and fostering socio-economic growth. 5. Contrary to my opponent's claim, foreign aid is not the only thing that developing countries need to survive. South Korea, for example, depended heavily on the US for foreign aid, but in the early 1960s, it's reduced its dependence on the US for foreign aid and focused on export-led industrialization. The South Korea today is a success story, and you can applaud to that later. 6. A disadvantage of foreign aid that my opponent has failed to take into consideration is that it discourages free market reforms. No wonder after the 1973 coup, Chile, a Latin American country, stopped focusing on foreign aid and invested more time in domestic reforms. Chile today is one of America's most stable and prosperous countries. 7. Indeed, the entire gamut of your argument that foreign aid helps development in developing countries falls flat on the face of logic. Because in 2010, Nigeria used 66.5% of foreign aid in servicing external debt, with only 6.3% going to the economic development, shifting resources away from socio-economic improvements. 8. Images of poverty and constant begging of it portrays Nigeria as a poor and helpless nation, although it has oil wealth and human resources. 9. My opponent said that foreign aid tackles problems like youth empowerment, but in actual fact, it provides short-term reliefs, no long-term goals. It tackles visible problems, not root causes. 10. You say that foreign aid reduces poverty and strengthens development, but Nigeria, since its independence, has received over $400 billion in aid and still ranks 16th most poorest country in the world, with over 133 million of its people living in multidimensional poverty. This is over 63% of the country's population, and yet you say that foreign aid fights poverty. If foreign aid actually reduces poverty, Nigeria would be a very rich country by now. I would like to engage you further on this debate after this, but for now, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well done. Godsgoodness, Kokoette. Venocrest Schools, Eneka, Port Harcourt. A recent graduate of that institution. Before her, you had a rebuttal round of Excel Omar of Government Science Secondary School, Pyakasa-Maitama, Abuja. These young ones have done so much, yet we are compelled to ask a little more of them to close their arguments. We'll wait for the closer when we return from this short time out. Thank you.
Obiwizi, Nigeria's trusted name in affordable tech and gadgets trade-ins. From Lagos to Abuja, from students to CEOs, Obiwizi is your guy for quality tech devices, brand new and pre-owned. Got a phone, a laptop? Bring it in and walk out with an upgrade, a cashback, or both. Whether you shop in store or online at obiwizi.com, that is obiwizi.com, you are guaranteed value, warranty, and a customer-first experience. Obiwizi offers affordable tech, trusted service. Because with gadgets, Obiwizi is your guy. Follow us on Instagram at Obiwizi Backup Page and on TikTok at Obiwizi.
Hungry for that real Nigerian flavor? Step into Ejala Foods, where every bite tastes like home. From fresh sizzling seafood to hearty soups, from smoky jollof rice to mouth-watering swallow and sides, we serve it fresh, we serve it local, and we serve it delicious. We're cooking for you every day at 45B Sus Crescent, Abacha Estate, Wuse Zone 4, Abuja. 37 Bode Thomas Street, Surulere, opposite Access Bank. Number 40 Fola Osibo Road, Lekki Phase 1. Follow the taste on Instagram at ejala.ng. Ejala Foods, your taste buds will thank you.
We're back.
Welcome. And thanks to all our sponsors, OB Weezy, Ejanla Foods, Chrisland Schools, Diamonds and Pearls, Travels, to Massey Children's Hospital, and the Lekki Conservation Center.
Yes, of course. We'd like to remind you, we are still live on Facebook and on YouTube. Also, you can listen to us on Kids FM in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt. Same for Nigeria Info, Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja. And the polls are still up on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
Let me also seize this opportunity to say thank you to all our teams, just in case I don't find the time later, who are working hard to make sure you not only hear us, but you also can see us online. Everybody working assiduously, from Tunde Abdul Salam and Mercy and all those guys, to Kenneth Odreme, to Olamide Fadoju, these guys running around making things happen, to producer Sheriff Quadri and other programs managers of the station, Carl Orakwe in Port Harcourt, and of course in Abuja, Kimberly Mwachukwu,
the governor himself.
Yeah,
I like to call him the governor.
You like to call, okay. LFEZ,
yes.
From Abuja, and the rest, everybody who have worked tirelessly to get us here. Not to leave out the glorious programs managers of Kids FM, Gang in Lagos, ISO in Port Harcourt, Gabriela in Abuja. Thank you for all you all are doing.
Yes.
Time now for the closing argument.
We go back to the motion supporter as we take your time down to 3 minutes. Godsgoodness, are you ready?
Yes.
You have 3 minutes and your time starts now.
Milton Friedman, a Nobel Prize-winning economist, once said, "Foreign aid is one of the most destructive things that can be done to poor countries." After the death of Zhao Modeng, China gradually opened its economy, but not with heavy reliance on traditional foreign aid, but by prioritizing foreign direct investments over traditional donor assistance. China witnessed unprecedented growth and lifted millions out of abject poverty. Singapore gained independence in 1965 with few natural resources, but immediately moved towards self-reliance. Singapore today has a high national income rate and is a global financial and trade hub. In the course of this debate, I have argued with concrete data, critical findings, and references that foreign aid has done more harm than good in developing countries like Nigeria. Foreign aid can have significant negative consequences in developing countries if not properly managed. Reliance on foreign aid discourages self-sufficiency and leads to a dependency syndrome. Instead of investing in local industries, governors of developing nations may await foreign funds, weakening internal development. Also, corruption, as aid funds can be diverted by corrupt officials. William Easter, the former World Bank economist, development critic, once said, "The tragedy is enormous, but the scandal is even greater." Nigeria is resource rich: oil, gas, minerals, human resources, and capital. With proper governance, Nigeria can generate enough revenue internally without depending on foreign aid. Countries like China, South Korea, and Singapore grew by domestic disciplines, not endless aids. Foreign aid can keep a country trapped in dependency, weak governance, and corruption. By cutting down reliance on foreign aid and focusing on industrialization, accountability, and resource management, developing countries can grow to become self-sufficient power. Therefore, I say let us boldly say no to foreign aid. For true growth, let us rise by our own strengths, not borrowed crutches. My closing nugget is a country who waits for foreign aid will learn to lean on purpose. Lend me a hand, don't make me a slave. Show some love and give your aid. No pun intended. Once again, I say excel. Para este per introspection. Excel by looking inwards. Gracias.
Thank you very much. She ends debate. And in this closing round, to finish in just over 2 minutes, sparing us almost a minute. Well done. That was Godsgoodness Kokoette, 15-year-old Venocrest Schools Eneka Port Harcourt graduate. She just finished. And as she moves on to bigger things in life, she can look back with pride at what she has done, both at the regional and this national finals. And so can her school. One last job to be done, and it is Excel's duty to close his arguments.
Are you ready? Your 3 minutes starts now.
Honorable judges, esteemed audience, let us pause and think for a moment. If Nigeria rejects aid, who bears the consequences? God's goodness, aid might not be perfect by your definitions, but the net impact is undeniably beneficial. And let me show you how. First, the World Economic Forum proves that for every dollar of foreign aid, an extra $7 is pulled in private investment towards developing countries. Without this, the billions of dollars of investments and the jobs that come with foreign aid would never arrive. The Council for Foreign Relations has shown that humanitarian assistance reduced violent conflicts by 40% in afflicted areas. Oxfam reports that aid reduces extreme poverty and narrows the gaps between rich and poor countries. Nollywood, our film industry, expanded its reach through international grants that build creative hubs and training programs, far from eroding our culture. Foreign aid amplified it. Esteemed arbiters, aid is no longer a cold war manipulation tool. It is smart, aid results driven, accountable, and transparent. It funds solar projects, women-led initiatives, and peacekeeping missions. Let us not forget the human face of this debate. With human aid, a little girl in Borno, though orphaned by insurgency, can now read because UNICEF gave her books. Communities in Bayelsa can now drink clean water because donors built a borehole. God's goodness. To reject aid is to claim that foreign aid did more harm to these lives. In conclusion, the evidence is clear. Foreign aid is not a chain that enslaves. It is a bridge that uplifts. We stand with reason. We honor the humanity and we affirm the evidence. For this reason, I oppose this motion. And I leave each person with this quote. If no man is an island, then no developing nation can truly thrive on its own. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Brilliant closing from Omar Benedi Excel in much the same time as his opponents. He's 14. And now he is finally a final year student of Government Science Secondary School, Pyakasa-Maitama, Abuja. That's where he's headed when the school session reopens. Before him, you heard Godsgoodness Kokoette of Venocrest Schools, Eneka, Port Harcourt. Interesting debate we've had here. Very interesting debate. All right, Lagos. This clash took us beyond Nigeria's borders and into the heart of global development. God's goodness, supporting the motion, warned that foreign shackles or foreign aid literally serve as shackles in themselves to nations, pushing them into dependency, draining initiative, and often serving the interests of donors more than the recipients. Standing against her, you heard Excel deliver his case with vigor, defending aid as a lifeline, funding schools, saving lives, and offering a bridge where governments fall short. One voice declared aid a curse. The other called it a cure. But in this arena, only one contender advances. The judges now hold the scales, ready to decide who carried the greater weight of persuasion. And we're about to find out. Before that, though, diction coach and judge Ivana Heifel, Your Royal Majesty.
Well, thank you, sir. You're very kind. Well done, Kokoette and Oma Benedi. I'll start with Kokoette. It is Milton Friedman, not Friedman, okay? Friedman, not Friedman, Friedman. You say develop, not develop. Develop. Developing countries, not developing countries, okay? You say developing countries. Proves is the third person singular verb. I prove, she proves. Proofs is multiple proof. Okay? So it is the multiple of one proof. Proves is a verb. Proofs. The word proofs is a noun. So you meant proofs as opposed to proves. You also say levy, not levy. Levy, okay? You say levy. You say three, not tree. A tree is a plant. 3 is a number, okay? You say neglected or neglect, not neglect, neglect. You also say significant change, not significant change. Significant change. You say terrorism, not terrorism. Terrorism, and it is syndrome, not syndrome. Syndrome, okay? You say syndrome. And to you, Oma Benedi, in conclusion, not shun, in conclusion, you say 7 is a number. 7 is a cardinal number. 7th is an ordinal number. You can use 7th as an adjective. So you meant to say in your 7th point, not in your 7 point. Okay? It applies to the word 8 and the word 8th. 8 is a cardinal number. It stands alone. 8th is an ordinal number. You can use it as an adjective. So in your 2nd and 8th points, not in your 2nd and 8th points. Okay? In your 2nd and 8th points. You say health, not health. You say deaths. Death, not debt, because debt is something you owe. Death is to pass away. Okay? Well done to you both. Over to you, lady and gentlemen.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. It is time now for us to go into the scoring, just to check that the diction scoring has been entered. It's been entered as we speak, I guess, and then we will be ready to go. It's an opportunity to say thank you to our sponsors once again, Obi Weezy, Ajanla Foods, Chrisland Schools, Diamonds and Pearls Travel Agency, Mercy Children's Hospital, to Lekki Conservation Center. Thank you very much for being a part of this, and everyone else who has come through for us. Very importantly, special thanks to our esteemed audiences on radio, on Nigeria Info, on Kids FM, online, on social media, and everywhere around the world. We appreciate you. I guess the tallies are now okay, good to go. So, decision time. I will breeze through the scoring. all the judges score every round for the same contestant. Every round for the same contestant. So I will save time by going to the final. So I will tabulate presentation, rebuttal, and closing rounds. Judge Ikechi has it as 30 to 24.5. Judge Majid has it as 30 to 27. Judge Ufoma has it as 30 to 23.5. And Chief Judge Chike has it as 30 to 25.5. That's 120 to 105. Diction scoring is 10-9. 10 for Excel, 9 for God's goodness. Bringing the tally to 129 to 110.5 for your winner. The earlier debate was not by unanimous decision. My bad, it was by split decision. 2 of the 4 main judges had it as a tie. 2 had it as a win by half a point each. And the diction judge had that as a tie. Not this time. 129 to 110.5 for your winner. From Venocrest Schools in Port Harcourt, God's goodness. Kokoette, congratulations, God's goodness.
Thank you.
Well done.
Well done.
Well done. You've taken your opponent out on the day. Good job.
Thank you.
Excel. Well, not your day.
You tried.
And it happens. It happens. Lagos. Here's the way I see it. I'm happy that God's goodness has risen victorious. A sharp critic of dependency carrying the day. So she books her ticket into the semi-finals, where she awaits the survivor of the Civil War debate to come. Excel didn't go for him. He may have fallen short here, but he departs with honor, remembered for a spirited and deeply thoughtful defense of foreign aid, and leaving an indelible mark on 2 seasons of the national finals of this one-of-a-kind national debate. Excel, well done. It was not enough in the end, but you gave it your best. Your first round was brilliant. You totally capitulated in your rebuttal round. And that can also be seen in how much time you left on the cards. You did your entire rebuttal round in just about 2 minutes or 4. And then you excused it by saying, well, you didn't give me things to rebut. I think maybe you probably didn't pay as much attention as you could have.
Yeah.
But it takes nothing away from your quality as a brilliant debater.
Yeah.
Okay? Wherever you go, remember that. You didn't lose because you were a bad debater. You lost because the field was intense, and maybe because you didn't go through the Rubicon this season as you had done last season. You were brought in as a wild card. The Rubicon gets you ready. Maybe you were not as sharp as we know you to be. Okay? So be proud of what you've done. Okay?
Well done.
Take heart. Take heart. Congratulations
Thank you.
to you.
Thank you, sir.
What a day. Lagos. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll go into the final hour and the final debate of the day.
Yes. I
We would like to take some reactions before that, if we can. Right? Yes? Would love to.
I don't know if we have the time.
Yeah, I mean, when we come back from the break, I think we should be able to take some reactions.
Okay.
Stay with us, Lagos. We'll be back shortly.
Nigerian flavor? Step into Ejala Foods, where every bite tastes like home. From fresh sizzling seafood to hearty soups, from smoky jollof rice to mouth-watering swallow and sides, we serve it fresh, we serve it local, and we serve it delicious. We're cooking for you every day at 45B Sus Crescent, Abacha Estate, Wuse Zone 4, Abuja. 37 Bode Thomas Street, Surulere, opposite Access Bank. Number 40 Fola Osibo Road, Lekki Phase 1. Follow the taste on Instagram at ejala.ng. Ejala Foods, your taste buds will thank you.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3